Role of cohesive devices or connectors or linking words in Ielts Task 2, that is essay writing, and how important are these linking words to get a high band score? Well, they're very, very essential, and we need to use these linking words appropriately. That is, we do not overuse them or underuse them. Well, today I'll share a Word document with you in which I've given some linking words and also shown how and when to use them. So let's begin. So, all those who are preparing for IELTS must be quite aware that in essay writing, you need to write at least 4 paragraphs. And the first paragraph is the introductory paragraph, or called the introduction. So there are some connectors here. You can start with this, that they believe or they think or they opine. At times, there is a universal truth. So you say it is universally accepted. Then instead of saying nowadays, which is very common, and most of the students use it, instead of that, one can say these days, or in recent times, or in current times, or in this day and age. So just be slightly different. Then it goes without saying, if you know that, yes, this is the truth and it is authentic, then you say it goes without saying. Then it is often said. So if something is being repeated, it's general knowledge, and mostly people believe in that. So it's often said. It is highly debatable. At times there are two views, or there are two contradictory statements. So then you say it is highly debatable. Then this is the beginning of the introductory paragraph where you can use these words. However, when you end the introduction, so what can you use? The last line, that is. So you've talked about both the viewpoints and then say, now let us examine these. Then the subsequent paragraphs will carry the discussion of both viewpoints further. Then it will look at both sides of the argument in the following paragraphs. So it has a flow into the next paragraph. So, what are these phrases or connectors for? Basically, to logically take the ideas into the next paragraph and to maintain a coherence and a good flow. Now, make a note of these. I will elaborate on my stance in the subsequent paragraph. So, you're telling the examiner that this is what my opinion is, this is what my stand is, and now I will elaborate. But when? In the next paragraph. Now, when you have to give your opinion, how do you start? You can say, in my view, and if you strongly believe in something, you can say that I strongly believe, apparently, it's true, and I too believe in this. I strongly disagree. So, all these, personally speaking, I opine from my perspective, from my point of view. At times, students here write, in my point of view. So, in will not come. The correct word is from. From my perspective, from my point of view, I am of the firm belief. So, any of these statements can be used to give your opinion. And as you must be aware, your opinion needs to be given in the introductory as well as the concluding paragraphs, both the paragraphs. Okay, so then moving on, we come to the body paragraphs. So, in both the body paragraphs, we need to use some cohesive devices to maintain a good flow. So you can begin with first and foremost instead of just saying firstly, secondly, or you can say in the first instance or initially. And these are the words which you can use later. Like if you've started with to begin with, then the next word can be in addition to this, also another point worth noting. So, in the two body paragraphs, You can use all these words. If you're using on the one hand, then next can be on the other hand. First paragraph you can use on the one hand, the second you can use on the other hand. Apart from that, so there are many. Many support the view that, however, some oppose. So when you oppose something, you use the word however. Like, I agree with this, however, there are a few who don't agree. Some people believe that, others disagree. Now, if you're talking about the same thing, like in the same way, similarly, likewise, just as, then on the other hand, on the contrary, however, nevertheless, can also use the word nonetheless, and although, though, even though, despite the fact that, or you can say in spite of the fact. Can even say even so, or you can also say even though he is very intelligent, yet he did not score good marks, or even though he is very rich, yet he walks to his office, or yet he uses a public transport to commute to his office. Meanwhile, whilst. So, all these are words that can be used in the essay. Now, supposing you have to give an example, to exemplify, to illustrate, to cite an example, for instance, such as, specifically, can use like or as. So, better to use like and as are quite common. You can use these words. As it is, you need to give just two, at the most three examples. So, that is more than enough. Now, to show consequence, that is as a result. So when you need to show consequence of somebody's actions, so then words used are therefore, hence, because of, eventually, all these. Consequently, as a consequence, as a result, on account of, owing to this. The final segment is the conclusion. So the best words to be used are in conclusion, to conclude, or to summarize. Don't use the word in a nutshell because that's a very informal word. That's why I haven't used it here. So please make a note of these words and start using them when you practice your essay writing. Hopefully, you should score at least an 8 band. All the best and do well.